start now. Yeah,
Okay,
you're gonna have
to host.
You're gonna have to
change you to host as well.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, yeah, now we're on. It's recording.
Yeah. You can restart the whole thing.
Yes. So I mean, so this is Futhi Sothobe, Lionel, my partner. Yes.
Sure.
So yes, as I said, it's nice for us to be meeting on a Saturday morning, and to actually talk about our industry, the tourism industry, and the level that we're in, and what we are permitted to do, and all the restrictions and the challenges that we are facing, and and looking at the future, how it looks like and what changes this is bringing. Yes.
Sure,
so yes. No. So I mean, I'll start by maybe Sothobe, if you can, even for our viewers, just give us your brief introduction and how you are actually involved in the tourism industry.
Sure. Thanks, Andy. Just briefly, the surname is Sibiya Mvanafuthi. I operate Ezweni Lodge up at Inanda, as well as operate Inanda Adventures, which is along the Inanda Dam. Ezweni Lodge is an accommodation establishment, primarily. Inanda Adventures is a tourist adventure site where we operate hikes for hiking purposes. We hire out canoes for paddling, and we organize local experiences, adventure experiences, whether it's to the Umzinyati Falls, to the Rastafarian caves, and those related activities in and around. So that's my involvement in tourism. Sure.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah,
Andile, you got something there?
Okay. No. Listening to your introduction, it seems like Ezweni Lodge is strategically placed in terms of rich heritage and history. I mean, all of these amazing attractions and amenities that you mentioned, and it seems quite adventurous as well. But I think we'll unpack it as we move forward.
Sure, certainly. I mean, remember, I've just mentioned AMA activities that we are directly responsible for, but we are placed on Inanda Heritage Route, which offers a number of other options. Just as you start the route, you will recall that you come across Gandhi settlement, which has an interpretation center of the whole Gandhi experience. The next is Ohlange Institute, which also has an interpretation center on the John Dube. And then as you come up, there is an seminary, you come through Pixley Gaseme House, you go through Betham Kize Homestead, you go through Zinyati Falls, the Rastafarian caves, before you actually get to the dam. So I just mentioned the stuff that we are directly linked to and responsible. Sure.
Okay. And I mean, if you're looking at the situation that we faced with manje, that the COVID-19, the pandemic and stuff, and tourism being literally on its knees, and mangabe uzobheka lezo indawo lezo, and uthola ukuthi yes, I'm a tourist avalelekile, we cannot even bring them to see these places. Mhlambe, what would you say ama-challenges obhekene nawo wena-ke kulesikhathi, and is it maybe also viable ukuthi mhlambe promote lama amenities to our local consumers?
Sure. Look, I'll deal with the three aspects of your questions one by one. The first part is what has been the impact. The impact has been huge. You will recall, look, we went on lockdown around the 26th of March. That immediately meant whatever business was in the horizon, you dealt with cancellations, which you had to deal with refunds. Remember, we also knew this to be a 21-day process at the time. So even in your planning, you planned for the next 21 days, those that I can defer until after 21 days will be deferred. Those that are not able to come at any other time, they will not come. You will also recall, establishments like ours are busy during the festive season up to about the first week of January, then it's dead. And then we look forward to recovery in March during the Easters and so on. Then it dies again. And then we recover somewhat during June holidays. And then into June 16, into the July handicap, and into the Comrades Marathon. All that business has been completely removed of 2020. We're not going to end, and you're never going to recover from it. So the impact has been huge. Even as it is, I'm in no position to take any leisure bookings now because I do not know when are we going to be in a position to be permitted to take leisure bookings. I can take business travelers, but the area that I'm at, if business traveler is not, I'm not on the business travel corridor. So there's very few opportunities to do business traveler accommodation. That just illustrates the extent of the impact. The second part of your question was asking, what then do we do? I have a feeling, Uguti, it's time to really restructure our business, rethink about who is our customer. Traditionally, an adventure traveler has not typically been a South African. We have tended to focus on overseas travelers for adventure and provide accommodation to locals. We are now having to think about how do we activate our local traveler to become an adventure traveler. And by local, I'm even willing to subcategorize that. When I say local, I mean a national visitor who could be coming from Cape Town, from Port Elizabeth, from Victoria, and from elsewhere. How do we ensure that our products, the adventure opportunities, the experiences that we offer are known and are of interest to that national traveler? The second traveler that I'm referring to is a regional traveler who will have to come and stay overnight. Castle, he could be from Chelsea, he could be from anywhere else. And then the third element is your proper local who is within our municipal area, because then that would be a day visitor. I'm now having to think, how do I offer a value proposition that caters on that day on my establishment or on our adventure side, and. So it's time that we can definitely use to promote and make people have something to look forward to once the lockdown has been set. Sure.
Okay. And I hear you. Lionel, do you have anything to add on to that? Because I actually picked up something quite interesting that I want to ask Sothobe about the travelers.
Just a minute.
Okay, whilst we give Lionel that minute, when you were categorizing the travelers, and what do we need to do, and especially categorizing the local travelers and so forth. And what I'm actually picking up, that will require a strong sense of unity between property owners, establishment owners, and including people like us who are tour operators, because you as a property owner by yourself, maybe it will be difficult to, I mean, that goes to show the importance of the relationship between the establishment owners and the travel agencies, because you have access to the market that you have, but again, you'll rely heavily on us as travel as tour operators to actually pull those travelers to actually come and experience those places. So I think this is also an opportunity for us to strengthen those relationships.
Certainly. The idea is we're not going to get too far without a very, very strong cooperation between those who promote destinations, those who have the capacity to bring visitors, those who offer accommodation like us, those who offer experiences like us. Because you might find that we have a fantastic product from an experience point of view. We've got a great product from accommodation point of view, but the capacity to ensure that that product is known, is introduced to the market, brings people from the market, we have to rely on people who specialize in that area of the business. Transport, the logistics is going to be a bigger part. And later on, when we speak about what I'm hoping we're going to get there, Futhi, what are my views about the future of international travel? And I would like us to just explore some of my thinking insofar as that is concerned, and then seeing how do we best position ourselves to be in a position to take full advantage of what I see as prospects from a future traveler point of view.
Yeah, so if I can come in here, actually that was going to be my next question on what are your views, or let's say how you're going to tackle international markets now that after the pandemic, because I mean a lot of people would actually have a lot of issues in terms of coming to the country, are they safe or they're not, etc. All those things, and regulations as well. I'm sure the tourism and home affairs and stuff will change the regulations for tourists and visas and stuff like that, you know. So how are you gonna come out of that? What's your plan there?
Okay, and it's something I've spent a bit of time thinking about. And here's my view. My view is, traditionally, we've looked at what I would call old money as the source of our international travels. People who have the money, who are able to travel around, who are able to spend, who are able to travel at any time of the year. And that has not been quite a market that we've been able to take advantage of previously, because you might find that to those people, the comfort is important. They have the money to spend in the likes of Hilton's, in the likes of Tanda, Pinda Lodge, and so on. It's unlikely that they will come to Ezweni Lodge. What COVID has done, it has, I think it will make it very difficult for old money to travel. And I think old money will travel less, which is likely then that we are going to find younger people traveling more. And the nature of the younger person's travel is very different to the older person's travel. You will find that he's on budget, so he is looking for value for money. You will find that he is looking for experience, he's looking for adventure, he's looking for local life. That places establishments like ours at a huge advantage if we can do a good job in reaching those younger travelers who are out there. And what then that requires is that we have sufficient access to the would-be travelers through university students. We start using our international students who are South Africans, who might be based in UK, based in Germany, based in Switzerland, based in India, China, Japan, and so on. Let's use them as representatives and ambassadors of young of tourism, youth tourism, and then they start publicizing these products. And here's another thing that I'd like to challenge you online and at Franco. You find this group bus. Typically, it's for backpackers who will board perhaps in Cape Town, and they will be able to travel, probably jump off at Tsitsikamma, spend a couple of days there, get into the next bus and travel probably in PE and spend a couple of days. We have not done enough to ensure that those bus travelers or backpackers are also able to come into our establishments. One of the things that we may need to start thinking about very carefully is how do we link with the bus and similar operators so that we are able to offer in connecting transport from their stop points in Durban CBD and offer them something that they will go into our establishments with. And one of the things that I'm doing now currently, which you don't know about, I've put rustic log cabins at Inanda Adventure site. The idea is to set it up as a proper backpacker establishment that allows for camping. It's right on the river front. There's options to fish. There's options to get into hiking. There's options to even do evening hiking. You could put a huge bonfire overnight and have a fireside chat or storytelling or poetry and whatever. And those experiences, I believe, have a huge opportunity to the younger international traveler that is going to be more available, more likely to be traveling than the older international traveler. So I believe that the experiences that we are going through will leave a younger traveler an experience, an adventure that has not previously been sufficiently enjoyed by the older international traveler.
That's
okay.
true.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I love the that idea of actually tapping into to the younger traveler, of which also then, because my follow-up question was going to be in terms of the recovery of the industry, okay, and I'm sure many business owners out there are actually relying on what the government has to say or has to do. And this to me, with the insights that you're also providing, it also shows us that part of the recovery and what we do thereafter, it is also like our responsibility. It is also our responsibility. So in terms of tapping into those new markets and putting our product out there, and as the government is putting the plans as well towards recovery, which means it takes me back to that point of unity when you mentioned the best bus, and no one has actually ever thought of something like that, and actually taking those rural places, those township places, or even creating something similar to the best bus to bring those tourists to those places. So somehow the COVID-19 has actually opened up our horizons, and it's something that definitely we can look into. And as I said again, it calls for the unity between us, the tour guides, and the property owners in effectively marketing the destinations. So which means the recovery is not totally bleak.
Sure. Look, Franco, if we have any business person that started a tourism business because government was going to be his partner, then he's crying at the wrong funeral. It would be nice if the government does come through, but I cannot leave my recovery at the hands of the government. I would have to use my own resourcefulness, my own means. I mean, right now, the lockdown was on the 26th of March, and there was an offer for tourism incentive to compensate for the loss of business. I'm not aware of a single person who has heard from government about any of those incentives. So it would be wrong for us to leave it up to the government. There's a lot of things that we can do, and I really believe that they can be done. Let's look at the value chain. If you've got establishments who have beds, you then need travel and tourism agents who are going to promote that destination. You will need that along with my beds, there is somebody who's offering experiences. Cape Town, leave Eastern Cape to come here. So there has to be experiences. Once those experiences are promoted, they give reason for a person to want to come. Once a person has a reason to come, they then need accommodation where they are going to be at. You're going to need guides that are going to make sure that those who do come are able to maximize the experiences, and that local knowledge only enhances the experience, because you could drive straight past something that is fundamental because you do not know, you do not have a guide. You need eateries that are going to ensure that they are able to make provision. And if you think about it, Inanda Heritage Route in particular has developed sufficiently in the last 5 to 7 years, where we have accommodation beds, we have eateries by the number of variety, whether you want paninis, you want chisanyama, you want chicken, you want wraps, you want shawarmas, you care about that. In experiences, we have experiences. What has led experiences? And that I put to those who should be coming in and promoting it, because by and large, I've had to do my own marketing.
I have one simple question for you, and I mean, as we're about to wrap this up, right?
Sure.
We're on level 3 now, and you mentioned that it's open. A lot of establishments are open for business purposes and so forth. Now, what intrigues me, maybe you can actually give me your perspective as a property owner. If they're open, if they're able to open accommodation establishment for business purposes, you know, I've been asking myself, why can't they also open for leisure purposes? Because now on your if you have a property, certainly you have multiple rooms, and you hardly get like maximum capacity unless obviously it's a peak season, you know. And if you can use those rooms and actually rotate, not use all of them. So if you have room 1 booked for 2 or 3 nights, and then when the guests leave, and then you put them on room 2, and whilst you sanitize room 1 when it's empty and so forth, and rotate them like that, just like how they're doing on transport, the 50% capacity, you know. Certainly this can actually keep the tourism industry going. So I mean, if you're in a position of a decision maker, government, and so forth, I mean, looking at that possibility, what would you do, or what would you say?
Sure. Look, let's just step back. If you notice, the COVID regulations since level 4 have largely been influenced by lobbying, by the strength of the lobbying community. To the extent that you are an alcohol manufacturer, you've got the resources, you've got access, you are able to lobby, you've been able to lobby until you get the regulations to be favorable to you. Because if you think about it, we've looked at every establishment, as I say, a Hilton hotel that has 600 rooms, that offers breakfast, where people are going to congregate for that breakfast. You will have a very different risk profile to Ezweni Lodge that has 8 units or 6 units that are catering. Because in my self-catering establishment, where you have separate chalets, each unit is a home, and they do everything there. There isn't an opportunity that they will be meeting and congregating in a dining hall for breakfast, congregating in a restaurant for supper. So that this social distancing it's a natural setting of the establishment that it encourages social distancing. But because we do not have a strong lobbying capacity as the small establishment owners, as to all hotel and accommodation establishments, and it's been based on the risk profile of a big conglomerate hotel like the Hiltons, like the Holiday Inns, and so on. And then with the smaller people have had to suffer in the process. But as far as the ability to social distance and comply with COVID regulations in a smaller establishment like we are discussing here, is the COVID requirements for a business traveler will not be different to COVID requirements for a leisure traveler. By the way, a leisure traveler is more than likely going to be coming coming in on a Friday and leaving on a Sunday. And I have the whole week to sanitize and prepare this unit for the leisure traveler that's coming in again on a Friday. So I don't think it's one of those that I find to be irrational, to be honest.
I've got a question in terms to do with your property. Are you open for hiking and all the other extra activities that they've allowed on level 3?
Okay. There is a bit of the answer is yes, or maybe let's paraphrase that. Let's say the answer should be yes. Okay. And I say the answer should be yes because of the following reason. We have said that people are allowed to go hiking, but we have not allowed people to travel for leisure. We've encouraged people to stay home and only travel for business-related purposes. So if you left home in Pietermaritzburg, coming down for hiking at Inanda and adventure sites, people are not sure if that is even allowed. So we are open for those who can get there, but we are finding that promoting it, encouraging people to come and do it, becomes difficult when you cannot guarantee them that they are not going to be asked questions about the purpose of their travel. I mean, if a person is not allowed to go and visit family, does it make sense that you are going to be able to get them to come and visit a hiking trail? So it's one of those that you are allowed but not allowed. But yes, we are open for those who can make it.
Okay, thanks.
All right. No, thank you. And on that note, as I said, again, it goes to show that it is solely our responsibility as well at this time to actually roll our sleeves and be proactive and do what we have to do in order to keep the momentum of our industry, you know, and maybe from everyone, you know, even the government seeing what we're actually doing, and obviously still abiding by the rules. You know, we can actually open up their minds as well and broaden their horizons, and they actually see like so basically we become our own lobbyists on this. And you know, we thank you very much for joining us on a Saturday morning, and we look forward in putting these ideas together and eventually get them out there and promote our destinations, township tourism, rural tourism, the small towns, and yeah, hopefully we can engage further and see what we can do as Susuros de Africa and Ezweni Lodge to get our locals to actually experience our offerings.
Certainly. Thank you very much. Thanks for the invitation. There are a couple of things that I'd like to throw your direction as well in terms of cooperation, which we can pick up offline. Thank you.
Definitely.
So much.
Yeah, thank you from my side as well.
Thanks.
Hopefully this will be a fruitful relationship, you know, going forward. So thank you very much for your time on a Saturday morning. Yeah.
Excellent.
Maybe you can just, maybe you can just quickly give us the links to your social pages for our viewers at home. So certainly they want to know who's Ezweni Lodge. So where can they find you?
Maybe the best place and the most up-to-date will probably be Facebook, and they will look for Ezweni Lodge. But it will still, the website will still be useful. It will be ezwenilodge.com, and my personal one, Futhi Sothobe, on most platforms. Futhi Sothobe.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. No, thank you very much, and to all our viewers as well out there. And our page is on the socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It's Susuros de Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Enjoy your Saturday.
Thanks, gents.
Sure.
Thank you. Cheers, likewise.
All right, cool.